Hi, Shelby.
Back with Horticultural Specialist. I should never say hi, Robert, first. That happens every time. He always tries to get me with that before I can even think. But horticulture specialist Robert Balick here from the University of Missouri Extension. We're glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
I am too, because you're talking about some spring type
And it's springtime, and you know what that means?
What's it mean?
Gardening season.
Yes,
okay.
I know that's your season, that's
yes,
for sure.
It's what I live for.
Yes.
Okay. So let's do a little shopping. We have a shopping cart today.
It is. It's so cute.
Yeah.
Where do you get this little tiny shopping cart like this?
You just have to know where the good stuff is.
Apparently
right?
so. I don't know if I've ever seen one of these. This is pretty
I've
cute.
seen one of these one time, and I had to have it, and I got it, and I've never seen one since. So I don't know. But this is our, we're shopping for seeds today.
Okay.
Okay, and we're talking about how do we choose seeds for our garden. All right, so we want to first figure out, what do you like to eat?
Okay, start there.
How hard is that, right? Start there with what you like to eat. Now, when you go to the store and see a bunch of seeds laid out there, the pretty packages, and you start grabbing things, and if you're like me, you get a lot more seeds than you want to plant.
And there's a lot more in that package than you planted on, too, and you think you've got to use up all of them.
Yes, and of course you do, because that's what I do, and then they have, you know, abundance, we'll say. Okay, and so we decide what we want to eat, and then how much seed do you need to really get the amount of vegetables that you want. And MU Extension has something for you to help you figure that out.
What's that?
Our vegetable planting calendar is a publication that you can find online at extension.missouri.edu. Vegetable planting calendar. It will tell you right on the front how many feet of row in your garden you need per person.
Because I'm going to measure it more than 3 feet. My garden might only be 3 feet by 6 feet, so probably for a little bigger garden than that. Would you use this?
Well, for example, for beets, you'd want to have anywhere from 5 to 10 feet of row per person, right? And that's just if you're eating the greens, because beets are a very interesting plant. You know, I'd really suggest beets. If you haven't started garden before, try beets.
If you like beets.
Beets are
First, you got to make sure that it's something that you like, right? That's the first step.
Yes. Or maybe you just want to experiment something, right? It always tastes better when you grow it yourself, I think.
That is true. Just like when someone cooks something, no matter what it is, even if it's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, if someone makes it, it's better.
Yes, if someone else makes it, it's better than, yeah, exactly. So it's kind of the same when you grow your vegetables, and maybe involve the kids in what they want to eat too. It's another way to really improve their diet, right? So we choose the vegetables we want. We find out how many we want, how many feet of row we need to have, and this extension planting guide even says how far apart to put the seeds.
Makes it easy for us, then.
Yes, and it's all laid out there, okay? And of course we can help you prepare your soil and things too to get your vegetable garden started. But to choose the vegetables you want, choose the amount you want, okay? And then the other part of it is, when do you plant these things? Because not all vegetables are created equal. Okay. Right? We have some that do well if you start them indoors now. And we'll have a second segment on that in a little bit.
That's exciting. We can start them now.
Yes,
that makes me feel good.
And some of them you can't really start indoors. You'd want to plant them outside. Okay, so we'll talk about the ones you want to start now indoors. Would be things like cabbage, broccoli, okay? Kale can be started indoors now. All right. And they come up and grow a little bit, and then we'll transplant them outside in a little while. So
is it important to do that, to plant them inside first, or can you just go ahead and wait till spring?
If you were to wait till spring with these cold crops, they're called cold crops, it's really too late by then, because for us, the last frost date is usually about the last week of April. So if we were to put seed in the ground then, it's so many days to harvest that it would be too hot for the plants and they'd burn up. So we want to give them a head start in the house now and get them up and growing and set them out maybe sometime in early April, because they can take a little bit of frost, but not too much.
Okay, that's a good plan.
Yeah, and then you can really get them to the point where you'd want to eat them.
And then you won't run out of time. You can get a full crop and a hardy crop.
Yes.
Okay, well, I want you to stay with us, because I need you to tell me a little bit more here in just in a few minutes, if you don't mind. Stay with us through the commercial break, and we can talk more about starting those seeds indoors and an easy way to do that as well. And then as we go to break, here's a look at one of the events in our community calendar. More with Robert after the break. Stay with us.